This house costs 1 crore rupees to buy. Or you could live in the exact same house for 40,000 rupees a month. Every Indian household has had this fight at the dinner table. Your dad says buying is the only sensible decision a grown adult can make. Your cousin, who rents in Bangalore, says he's never been happier and never going back. Who is right? Today, we are going to settle this, not with opinions, not with what your parents think, but with an actual spreadsheet, real interest rates, and real rent data from 2026. And fair warning, the answer might not be the one you expect. Let's tell this through two old school friends, Rohan and Meher. 20 years ago, both got their first job in the same city, same salary, same dreams of eventually owning a nice place. Rohan's family had one golden rule: renting is throwing money away. So, at 30, Rohan took the plunge: 20% down payment, an 80 lakh loan, and a 20-year commitment to the bank. Meher had a different instinct. She looked at the EMI numbers, looked at the rent numbers, and thought, why not invest the difference instead of locking it into one property? Both of them were being financially responsible. They just made different bets. 20 years later, at this reunion, they're finally going to find out who bet better. Let's do the math right alongside them. Here's a mistake almost every homebuyer makes, including, for years, Rohan himself. He thought his house cost 1 crore rupees. 20 lakh down payment, 80 lakh loan. Add them up, 1 crore. Done. Simple. Except that's not even close to the real number. Using today's home loan rates, and home loan rates have actually come down quite a bit since 2024, currently averaging around 8% at most major banks, including SBI. Here's what an 80 lakh loan over 20 years actually costs in interest alone. The real math: 1 crore rupees. House, down payment, 20 lakh rupees. Loan amount, 80 lakh rupees. EMI at 8% interest, approximately 66,900 rupees per month. Total interest paid over 20 years, approximately 80 to 82 lakh rupees. Total repaid to the bank, approximately 1.6 crore rupees. Add property tax, society maintenance, and home interior, conservatively, another 35 to 40 lakh rupees over 20 years. True cost of the house, approximately 2.15 to 2.2 crore rupees, more than double the sticker price. Let that sink in. The house Rohan thought cost 1 crore actually cost him over 2 crore by the time the loan closes. Now, does that mean buying was a mistake? Not necessarily, because unlike a car, a house appreciates. The question is, by how much? And does that appreciation cover the gap? A 1 crore house becomes worth approximately 2 crore 20 to 2 crore 40 lakh after 20 years. So Rohan's net position? He spent roughly 2.15 to 2.2 crore. His house is worth roughly 2.2 to 2.4 crore. His actual gain, after 2 decades of EMIs, maintenance, and stress, is modest, sometimes barely positive. Now let's check on Meher. Using current market data, the average rental yield in India in 2026 sits at around 5% nationally. That means a 1 crore house realistically rents for somewhere between 40 and 42,000 rupees a month, not the 30,000 often quoted in older videos and calculators. Rents in India typically rise about 5 to 8% a year, especially in IT-heavy metros. So Meher's rent crept upwards steadily, year after year. Over 20 years, Meher paid a total of roughly 2 crore 20 lakh rupees in cumulative rent. That number alone makes renting look brutal, almost as expensive as buying, without ever owning anything at the end. Here's the twist almost nobody accounts for, though. In the early years, Rohan's EMI was significantly higher than Meher's rent. That gap, the difference between what Rohan was paying the bank and what Meher was paying her landlord, is money Meher had left over every single month. And if she invested that monthly difference into an equity mutual fund instead of spending it, something interesting happens. Let's run the actual scoreboard, using a long-term Nifty 50 equity return of around 11 to 12%, which is the broad market's realistic long-run average in India. Rohan bought the house. Meher rented and invested the difference. Rohan's monthly outflow was an EMI of roughly 66,900 rupees. Meher's rent started around 40,000 rupees and gradually increased every year. The difference between Rohan's EMI and Meher's rent wasn't spent. It was invested, month after month, year after year. As rent slowly rose, that gap became smaller. But for many years, Meher had money working for her in the market, while Rohan's money was going toward his home loan. After 20 years, Rohan paid roughly 1.6 crore rupees to the bank. Add maintenance, taxes, and upkeep, and his total housing cost reached roughly 2.2 crore rupees. Meher, meanwhile, paid around 2.2 crore rupees in cumulative rent. But her investments kept compounding. The monthly difference she invested grew into a corpus worth roughly 1.5 to 1.7 crore rupees. At the same time, Rohan's house appreciated in value and ended up worth roughly 2.2 to 2.4 crore rupees. Now comes the part that surprises almost everyone. The two paths end up remarkably close to each other. Neither Rohan nor Meher made a financial mistake. The gap between buying and renting is often much smaller than people imagine. In fact, the single biggest factor in this entire comparison isn't buying versus renting at all. It's discipline. Meher's outcome only works if she actually invests that monthly difference, every single month, for 20 years. If she had spent that difference instead of investing it, she would have ended up with no house and no meaningful corpus. That's the real risk of renting, not the rent itself, the lack of discipline. And the real risk of buying isn't the EMI, it's giving up flexibility, locking yourself into one large asset, in one city, for decades, regardless of how your career, family, or priorities evolve. That's the trade-off most people never talk about. Here's something the spreadsheet will never tell you, and it matters more than any percentage we've discussed. Remember being 10 years old? You played the entire day. No schedule, no pressure, just pure, unstructured freedom. Then came Class 10, Class 11, and Class 12. Suddenly, your life revolved around one exam. Every decision you made was in service of a result that was years away. A large home loan can feel exactly like that. You can't easily move cities for a better opportunity. You can't comfortably take a career break. You can't change direction without thinking about the EMI waiting for you every month. In a way, you're back in Class 12. Except the exam lasts 20 years, and it's called your home loan. Now, that doesn't mean buying a house is a bad decision. Far from it. It simply means you should be honest about what you're optimizing for. If owning a home gives you peace of mind, if it gives your children stability, if it gives you a feeling of permanence and roots, those benefits don't appear in a spreadsheet, but they're real, and they matter. On the other hand, if flexibility matters more to you right now, if you value the freedom to change cities, change careers, or simply keep your options open, that's perfectly valid too. It's about choosing the lifestyle that helps you sleep better at night. Because sometimes the best financial decision isn't the one with the highest number at the end. It's the one that fits the life you actually want to live. So if you're stuck on this decision right now, here's the only homework that actually matters. Run your own numbers. Your city's home loan rate, your city's actual rental yield, your own monthly investing discipline. The math changes person to person, city to city. What doesn't change is this. Whichever path you choose it on purpose. Understand the real cost. And then stop checking what everyone else is doing. If this helped you see the decision more clearly, hit subscribe. We're building a whole series breaking down money decisions just like this one, with real numbers. See you in the next one.